Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review of Battlestar Galactica movie. And see, it's this 4K version. It's like a edited thing of pretty much like a couple, like the pilot episode. Let's see. Yeah, because of like a re-edit of the episode was re-released theatrically. This thing is like 2 hours and 5 minutes. This one is definitely interesting. I didn't know how dark it was going to be compared to the 2000s remake, but it still keeps in kind of line similarly. I do like that it still has the same kind of themes of what's kind of going on that are present in the remake, but I've got the kind of Seinfeld effect, i.e., I'm seeing something that is influenced by this and then going back to it. But I still had enjoyment from it. Its main kind of problem is that it's a re-edited kind of like pilot and other kind of things going on, so it doesn't flow as well as a movie versus probably like if this is like a couple of episodes kind of smushed together. But it goes along the same kind of concept, the 12 colonies fighting the Cylons. Now it's like the 7th millennium of man of what's kind of going on here. They've been fighting, let me see, the 7th millennium of time. They've been fighting the Cylons for like 1,000 years, and they suddenly kind of sued for peace. We've got Baltar, who, if you're familiar with the new series, still has a similar kind of role here, pretty much bringing them up, saying, hey, they're cool, we're getting a peace kind of thing, everybody's doing a victory kind of thing and all that. We are then introduced to pretty much Starbuck and Rick Springfield as Zach and Apollo. Now, even though these characters are kind of different than what I've kind of seen in the other ones, Starbuck is definitely the kind of playboy dude. I wasn't quite that sure of his kind of relationship with Athena, because we've got Commander Adama of Battlestar Galactica, we've got his son Apollo, we've got his younger son Zach, and we've got his daughter Athena. I didn't know that, like, I mean, with her reaction of what we see Starbuck doing later on, pretty much getting it on with one of the survivors of the Cylon attack and blasting steam up his ass, it's like, okay, are they together? It kind of would have been more interesting to kind of have that as seeded more throughout, but we see that later on also as he's trying to juggle both of them, and both of them are like, you asshole. But Apollo and Starbuck were supposed to go on patrol and see what's kind of going on, because Adama is like, what's going on here? So Apollo and Zach go and pretty much find that the Cylons are pretty much going to attack them. So Zach kind of gets fucked up, and Apollo is the one to kind of race forward, but Zach gets killed. We see that the president is talked into keeping their fighters at bay by Baltar, and pretty much all the Battlestars except Galactica and the colonies are attacked, and we see that like Adama's wife is pretty much, we presumed, killed, at least at this point. We see certain kind of refugees. Jane Seymour's in this, and her son kind of get latched on to Apollo as they're trying to figure out and cobble together this fleet to lead the system and get out of Dodge. And this, of course, is then laid on to trying to find the 13th colony, Earth, because that was pretty much put into, let's see, but the location is lost only to the last lord of Kobol, the planet which was originally home of man, but which was abandoned thousands of years earlier when the tribes migrated to the stars. We also get introduced to Lieutenant Boomer and Colonel Teague. So the main kind of action is starfighting, but for the time I could see why it would be really kind of awesome. The effects are good for their time. It's just, it's not very much of an excitement to kind of see them kind of going through the kind of fighting. I mean, when you do it nowadays, you got more kind of buttons and switches and stuff. You got people kind of moving and juking around a little bit more than what's kind of going on here. It's just not as engaging as other ones that I've seen before. Do I think it's bad? Especially if I go back in its time frame, I'd be like, no, it's a really kind of cool thing to kind of see. We also see the Cylons have this kind of overlord kind of leader, and we don't know exactly their reasons for doing their complete reasons. They want to exterminate humanity. Let's see. Because we see Baltar pretty much getting portrayed as like, yeah, we're not gonna let you live. Their primary objective is to like destroy the human race. Now, Baltar's death is a little bit later. I mean, when they see that people have escaped and survived, they try to use Baltar to pretty much keep that into effect and try and take out the human race. And we do get some interesting kind of political intrigue of what's going on because the survivors need food. We see this asshole kind of hoarding food and being a dickhole. Apollo's like, fuck you, man. And Apollo's trying to like help out Jane Seymour and her son. He's lost his dog in the Cylon attack. They build a freaky-ass robo-dog for that, which is kind of strange because they're fighting the Cylons, which are a robotic race. And they're interesting. It's a little bit harder to understand their dialogue sometimes. I don't know if it was maybe the audio mix for this 4K or whatnot. But you have to watch out and kind of get into the rhythm flow of it because sometimes you won't get the exact kind of wording in the beginning, but then as it kind of goes, it gets a little bit clearer as they're kind of talking about it. Yeah, we got the rope. So it's like, okay. And they're smoking on ships. It's like, okay. Now, they might have more kind of filters or whatnot, but normally when you're doing that and you're in a long-ass space voyage, you don't really want that to go on like that. They do that kind of stuff also in the reboot series as well. I just didn't. It's been a while since I've seen the reboot series, so I don't know if they've talked about that with like air filtration and stuff like that. Particulates. Let's see here. So they're trying to pretty much figure out what to do. They do need. Let's see here. They have to cross this nova of Madagan, a massive, extremely hot star field, but the problem is that the Cylons have mined it. So they pretty much tag out 3 pilots. They can't see, so they have to use their sensors and Galactica sensors to kind of shoot through and hope to God that they don't blow themselves up before getting to the other side and finding pretty much this planet called Carlion. And the thing is, it's got, like, food and everything. It's kind of like a gambling place and everything. They're like, what the fuck's kind of going on with this place? It's got food. What's happening here? We get this strange kind of thing, kind of cantina style, where we've got these 3 ladies with, like, more eyes and mouths and everything singing. Starbucks like, I got a get-rich-quick scheme thing going on. They could make a good amount of money for me, kind of shit. It's like, God damn it. Well, at least Apollo is attempting to, like, work it out with the kid, trying to get him to being a starfighter pilot and trying to process all of the crazy kind of shit that's going on with it. I do like that they have that in here of, yes, there's a little bit of the thing of just, pick yourself up kind of stuff, but Apollo actually kind of takes it seriously and is attempting to do stuff for a kid that he has no connection to and just tries to help out. It's like, that kind of endears me to the character. And Adama is pretty good too. Trying to figure out how to best navigate this fleet, how to deal with the new Council of 12, because the other council was pretty much like nuked almost when it was taken out and hit by the Cylon attack. And he's trying to figure out how to keep everybody from just going down to the surface, kind of sensing a kind of Cylon trap. And Baltar pretty much calling that out for it because he was the one that surveyed the planet. It's like, what's going on with this planet? Of course, it's more along the lines of, like, Lotus Eaters. What is it? Ovids? Ovions. They're the kind of native ones, because the kid kind of gets captured. He's like, oh, no, no, no. Using a universal kind of translator. He's like, no, you're good. Just gamble and everything. And it's like, everybody's winning. It's like, what the fuck's going on? And you can't go down to this one level. Of course, they do kind of TV edits where it's like, oh, God, I'm seeing this crazy-ass thing. It's like, all right, cliffhanger, show us what's going on. So they're pretty much using these people as food. I mean, and figure that out. And they pick certain kind of ones and kind of do this. It's like, oh God, what the fuck? And that's one thing. This also evidently is a planet that has fighter fuel for their fighter jets. That becomes important later on because of what weirdness kind of occurs. We also see that one of the council is attempting to pretty much show the Cylons that they don't need to kill the humans by pretty much getting rid of all of their weapons. Sire Yuri, the dude that was hoarding the food. So he pretty much plans this big thing to kind of give Starbuck, Apollo, and Boomer awards and shit, and tries to figure everything out, of course, and get this whole plan in motion. However, Adama and Teague go behind the scenes, and instead of putting all of their fighter people on the planet for the celebration, decide to give these uniforms to other kind of people and still have their fighter people on standby to fight any kind of Cylon base stars that would pop up. It does. Once Apollo and them pretty much find out what's kind of going on and rescue Starbuck's kind of booty call, they start firing in this underground cavern. The gun scenes aren't really that. This is really after Star Wars, and Star Wars had kind of better stuff with it. This is okay. It's better than the Starfighter fights that are kind of going on, in that you get a little bit more movement and action. But you see the Cylons kind of blowing up and everything, and kind of just trying to put the effects of what's kind of going on. It's like, kind of takes you out of it sometimes. Now, product of its time, yes. So if it was at that time, it would definitely be working out pretty well and be like, holy shit. And they accidentally start setting stuff on fire, which they're able to kind of get off the planet and start starfiring pretty much a Cylon base star and force it close to the planet, and the planet blows up and destroys the base star. It's not that there was an explosion on the planet and blew up the base star. The planet blew up. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Let's see. So then they pretty much just set off for their whole thing of like going to find Earth. So as a pilot, I think it sets stuff up well. As a movie, it's just like, I don't know why you would do it. I mean, pretty much according to certain kind of stuff about the information for it, they were doing it to recoup costs and like drum up excitement for it. But I'm just like, it would have been better if it was in different kind of like, here's one episode, here's another episode, and just edited that kind of way and kind of got you in there like a 2-hour premiere or whatnot, but having clear delineation kind of marks of what's kind of going on. The overall setup I like, okay, humanity's dealing with this race that wants to exterminate them. They attacked under proposed peace, and again try to use subterfuge and human stupidity to kill their asses, even though it involves blowing up a planet. Probably take more kind of explosions on it. But it's interesting for them to try and find Earth as that last kind of tribe for help and going on that kind of route. It is a different kind of take, at least for the time, you know what I mean? Whereas I do still like it echoed also in the reboot series as well. It's interesting to have these kind of advanced kind of colonies out there that are in need of help and are trying to find Earth. And it's interesting at the time to figure out if Earth is going to be as advanced as them or not as advanced as them, and what that kind of deals with the characters. And I think they did a good job of setting up their characters and their motivations. Baltar is pretty much the traitor and gets kind of like cracked out, so it's like, okay, he's more of a kind of plot device. But seeing Adama deal with like the ineffectiveness of the president and the betrayal of Baltar, trying to maneuver and work with Teague to figure out what's going on with the new council, Apollo trying to deal with losing his brother and trying to help Jane Seymour and her kid out, Starbuck just being the stupid ass playboy and dealing with the consequences of those kind of actions, and Boomer just being like, I gotta deal with these two. I gotta deal with these two. So it was cool to see these different kind of dynamics because they're different than the reboot series, but not in a bad way. It's trying to tell a different story, and I like that it's all into that kind of execution. There's similar kind of beats, but I like that they kind of got different kind of objectives, so you can be like, oh yeah, this is old, it kind of sucks. It's like, no, it has the same basic premise, but it's executed in different kind of ways, and of course with different kind of technologies as well. Because the Cylon, you had CGI in the reboot series. Here, you did the kind of effects of making them look like robots, and the blaster fire and everything going on with the starfighters and everything. I wouldn't say that they did a bad job. Would it probably have been expensive back in the day? Yeah. Now, would I recommend this? Yeah, if you're into Battlestar, it's a different kind of way. Now, you have to go in, what is their objective? Because it was dealing with, like, 9/11 and everything like that, and being very affected by that in the reboot of the series in the 2000s. This is more done along the lines of, like, the Cold War at the time, since it was, like, 78 in the 80s and all that kind of stuff, so that really heavily affects it on that kind of thing. Now, I think it definitely has some pretty good, strong character building and world building, because you're like, okay, these are advanced societies. They've got these giant battleships. We've got all this kind of different tech and trying to go through all the stars. It's very kind of space opera level. It's like, okay, cool. Action, now, it's the pilot kind of ones that they've reconfigured, so it's not the best, but I've seen vastly kind of worse, so I'm like, okay, don't go in this completely on the action. It would be more on the characters, the plot, and the world building, and the action there to kind of lift it up a little bit, but I don't know how it kind of evens out going forward. But I enjoyed this and had fun with it and would recommend it. I mean, depending upon how young you are, it could be scary with the robots and the insects pretty much eating people, but I mean, it's also made of its time, so scary back then is different than scary now. Like the Evil Dead kind of remake or whatnot, and you're like, those effects are holy fucking shit, motherfucker. So yeah. So those are my opinions on the movie. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.